I've never been elbow deep in a fish before, so you got me on that one.
Other things maybe, but that's a whole.
Hey, everybody, I'm Kevin McLaughlin, and this is the Riffs and
Rhythms podcast, and I'm Paul Robertson. So welcome back.
Thanks. I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah, man, we missed you there. So
I am glad. I'm happy you missed me.
Yeah. So we were able to manage. It actually was nice. I didn't get any drummer jokes or getting dumped on for being not able to competent. But I'm sure you're going to make up for it tonight.
Oh yeah, you bet.
So yeah, we talked about in the last episode about we talked about it. We would eventually probably come to that point where we may need to do a guest host or a guest, fill in or whatever. And it kind of was good that we got the opportunity. We'll talk a little bit more about the guys who the interview. Episode 25 there we just dropped there last week. Brad and Mike Farrow there. Joined us, and Mike was our guest co-host there, so definitely check out Mike, support Mike. He was our first song review.
Yeah.
And
the big 4-0.
And Brad, he was helping out there because we were also a man down behind the cameras and the audio stuff there, so we had to recruit somebody there because Dino decided to have a birthday and go on vacation too. You believe
that's
that
right.
shit?
I forgot Dino wasn't here.
Did we approve this time off?
No.
I don't think he did. We approved this time off.
You forgot to put your time off request in ahead of time.
Well, it's also that I don't get paid either.
That's true, I guess. I guess that's a good point. Okay, yeah. So, it's happy birthday, Dino.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I like how he gives himself his own.
Presses the button for his own applause.
Might as well, right?
It's a good thing I don't have that button.
Yeah, so.
So, before we go on.
Yeah.
Tell us all about it, man.
All right. So, hi, for everyone who doesn't know, my name is Dino, a.k.a. Christian. And I celebrated my 30th birthday down in Key West. Well, me and my girlfriend, we started at Isla Morada, and then we stayed in a cute little hotel called the Drift. And honestly, it's awesome. It's got these little bungalow looking homes, and we just maybe 2 minutes closer to the water, and just it was amazing. So we visited a couple of breweries. We visited a couple of lunch spots and food places and everything. And obviously the water was tranquil, turquoise and amazing. And I also learned how to properly fish for crabs. Well, I mean, not properly.
You don't. You crab for crabs. Can you fish for? If you fish, you catch fish, right?
I mean, I guess, yeah.
I guess it's better than sitting on the toilet getting crabs.
Well, there's probably more fun ways to get crabs than
That's true.
That's he's talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, besides the fishing, I also got bit by tarpon. This is what I like to say. I mean, it's also not advisable to just hold the fish in front of its face. But, yes.
Let's see your fingers.
Yeah,
you
show us.
He's got all his fingers still.
Yep.
Yeah, but you got a little bit chewed up there on the inner side, though, right?
Oh yeah, no. So where we had went, it's called Robbie's. It's right off the bridge. I can't remember which bridge, but it's a little restaurant place that's got a great bar, great music.
You can't miss it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they have also a tarpon feeding area where they have these netted little pools, and there's maybe 20 to 30 fish per pool. And I decided, all right, you know what? Let's see how this goes. And we paid for the bucket, which is I think maybe 10 fish per bucket. And I obviously I got freaked out a couple times, but eventually I wasn't paying attention, and the biggest one decided to just say hello and take off my whole hand.
Take off your whole hand and you got it back?
You were elbow deep in a fish?
Wow.
Pretty much, yeah.
Ooh, we know.
Oh yeah, wow. But no, it was awesome.
Sounds like a Key West story to me.
Yeah, did we just start off this podcast with the Tales from the Road?
We did. I've never been elbow deep in a fish before, so you got me on that one.
Yeah, other things maybe, but that's a whole.
Honestly,
anyway,
I brought it up onto the dock and just had it for lunch then.
I know you. Yeah, you could have definitely eaten for a while there. So, hey, if you're really resorting to need to catch your own fish for your own birthday dinner, let me know. I'll throw you a couple bucks. Maybe maybe we'll take you out to Chuck E. Cheese for your birthday next time there, rather than you having to do
Look, their pizza's always fresh. That's what
yeah, as long as making sure you're showing up with a child and not just be the weird guy there. So, but
child at heart.
Yes. So welcome again. Or happy birthday. So what are you 21 now or what?
30.
30. Okay. Oh, the big 3-0. Wow. Okay.
You cannot tell by the face that I just shaved off. So
You shaved off your face?
yeah, and I used to have the beard. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't remember. Remember he told me he's just saying that he's trying to still recover from bike week from
Yeah.
That is also true.
3 months ago.
Yeah.
He's still.
Honestly, I'm not okay.
Well, welcome back, Dino. There to again. We were glad that you're back there, and again, that this is the first time that most people probably have seen. You've probably heard us talk about Dino, our videographer, or whatever title he wanted me to give him. It's good for his resume and his LinkedIn page. And first time you get to see him and actually hear from him too. So yeah, so he's we did a little upgrade there from last week there. So we had Brad on, and we're like, yeah, let's give you a mic and
Awesome. Now you can upgrade your LinkedIn profile to include on-air podcast personality.
that's right.
This is very true. I mean, I also did YouTube. I told you guys, but I haven't told anyone on Spotify yet. But yeah, I used to also do YouTube like years ago. So this is, for me, I'm always staring at a camera's face, just right inside of you guys. So now it's a transition like that.
Yeah. So there we go. So yeah, so we're back. The gang is back. You know, we're back. We're all whole again. We're doing a little bit of an empty couch episode today here, which is fine. You know, again, we don't always have guests in some of these episodes, but we do, come up with other stuff to go over and talk about and try to amuse ourselves and hopefully you as well. But I think we've got a good little show for tonight that we're going to cover.
We do.
Stuff.
This is going to be a great show.
Yeah.
I want to personally apologize for the show that I did right after I got back from Bike Week because I watched it and I was lame. I apologize. I was so tired. I'm still tired.
Well, hey, since you're so tired, let's have some booze, okay? How about that? So let's crack open this bottle of Stolock whiskey here. It says Holy Water. So this is we got this from our friends at the House of Wine, Beer, and Spirits. There, our good friends again there.
The Prez?
Yeah, so Stolock Water, it is 100 proof. So check that bad boy
It's
out.
a Stolock.
Yeah, so we're going to go.
So the question I've got is, it says the date it was bottled is 7/24, and that's like
In the future
3
from
months
this
from now.
episode.
so
So we're drinking future whiskey.
yes, we're drinking whiskey that doesn't exist yet.
So we'll have to find out a little bit more about the labeling though. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
number 21 of batch 10. This is
Okay, so there we go. So
So you want to do the honors of breaking the
you
seal?
can go ahead. I did the last one on the vodka one there.
Alrighty then.
All right,
Ooh,
so-
you know it's going to taste good. It's got a wood top on the cork.
I do. Yeah, those are always the best ones.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Don't knock the
Broke
mic
some.
over.
all right. So
All
we'll
right.
do a little sample first here. Okay, trying our Kevin the official shot glass of the podcast there, the Kevin McLaughlin shot glass there, KMB there. So we'll talk more about the some of the KMB stuff. So Dino doesn't get any, because he's not 21 yet. But no, again, we'll get you some. So
Yeah.
So
You want some? Here, just
Yeah.
go,
drink it right out of the bottle.
Want to go ahead and get a straw?
Don't do that.
Yeah. Bad things happen when you drink.
That's what we're using those for?
we're gonna go ahead and but we'll go ahead and
we're gonna
get a
shoot
little-
it first,
Yeah,
'cause
we're
we're
gonna get a
men.
little. Yep, just a. Ooh, it's tasty. It's got a real interesting profile.
I like the after air.
Yeah, it's a little on the back of the palate there. So again, it's 100 proof, so it's got a little heat, of course, right? So you're gonna definitely have that.
But it's
Not.
good. It's got now I've got like a third aftertaste going like a
Yeah, you get the mouthfeel going, right?
oh, this is really a complex flavor.
So, okay, so let's see. We're gonna do it here. All right, we'll first
Liking
go ahead.
it.
We'll first go ahead and.
What is that? Like maybe a little bit of anise in there.
Go.
Can you taste a little hint of anise on the
Yeah,
back end of that?
it's like a little spice. There's like almost a little spice out of it, right?
Yeah, like licorice almost.
All right, so we're just going to go ahead and sip the rest of this for the night here on a little bit of ice here. So it's probably going to definitely tame down. This is probably if we think we liked it straight, this is probably going to be amazing on a little bit of ice. So there's Stolock whiskey there. So definitely check out there. So again,
It's got Irish references.
so this is it's your calling then, right?
It's got an Irish toast all around the outside of the label.
We should have had this for St. Patty's Day then.
That would have been a good idea.
It's definitely tastes like whiskey.
Ooh, wait till you try this with a little bit of.
It is very like wood infused. Like I can tell for like the back of the throat. Yeah.
You taste, yeah. Is this a wiener?
It's a wiener.
Look at that. So it's McLaughlin approved. So yes, so
This is good. Good stuff. It's Strolock whiskey.
Stolock whiskey.
Not
Yes.
a Polak, a Strolock.
Yeah, so Stolock whiskey, once you become holy water, once you become official whiskey of the Kevin McLaughlin Band. How about that there? Let's get that deal done.
Paul has been priming this whiskey for weeks and months
No, it's
now.
been
and
sitting here for a while because
it's
we've been
been
waiting
worth
for you
the
to come back. I didn't want to kind of open this without you, right? This is kind of like it's like Olive Garden when you're what's that when you're with family.
Yeah, like when you hear your family.
It is not like Olive Garden at all. Where's the free breadsticks?
That's
that
true.
is very true,
I'm
yeah.
starving actually. I could definitely go for some breadsticks right now.
That and a little bit of the Alfredo sauce, just dip it in.
Dude,
I have not been to an Olive Garden and
I don't even know if there's an Olive Garden near us
Long
here
time.
in this area. So actually, maybe up your way.
we need to get an Olive Garden sponsorship, and we need a
Yeah.
we need a tub full of breadsticks and a vat of salad.
Yeah, we listen. We're gonna definitely. I'm gonna start to get the Patreon page up here. So again, if you want to sponsor the podcast, throw us a couple little bucks and we can do some upgrade. We'd love to have a full time bartender on the show. That'd be freaking awesome, right?
It would be, yeah.
And somebody, if you're a local business, drop by and drop off some food.
That's what we need. That's what we could do. We could have a celebrity guest bartender from all of the Florida bars to come in, and they could promote their bar, or the bartender could promote their own following.
That's right. So there you go. So sneak peek. Stay tuned to see if we actually pull this through.
I know some amazing bartenders.
Well, okay, then bring them in there. Hopefully they're okay to look at. See, he's already looking them up here. All right, so anyways, yes, so big shout out then again to Stolock Whiskey there. So we're going to sample this and drink this on this episode here. Distilled from grain, 100% proof in this 750 milliliter bottle there. So we'll get a little bit more. We'll read the rest of this at some other time. There's Stolock Whiskey then. Again, thanks to the guys over at the House of Wine, Beer, and Spirits there. So cheers, guys. And with our good friend Perez the Perez, right? Mario Perez the Perez.
Here's to Perez the Perez.
But wait, there's more. So you can bougie up your...
Oh, wow.
I collect these.
Oh, these are very
There
good.
you go. So now you can sport your new favorite whiskey here, and we can hide our red Solo cup there. So there we go. So cheers there, Stolock Whiskey there. So
Speaking of red Solo cups,
yes.
let's do a toast to Toby Keith.
Okay.
Toby Keith, may you be in heaven forever.
Cheers. All right. So we're back and we're already cracking open bottles, and what are we going to go talk about here tonight?
I feel
So-
much better now. Thank you.
So, since last week, I talked to Kevin and said, no, last week, we held down the fort with Mike and Brad, and we did a show about top 5 riffs, right? So I gave Mike a list of riffs that were the internet that put out there, and I gave him a whole list, and he came up and gave me his top 5. So Kevin feels like, he's got a little soft spot in his heart for me, I guess. He feels like I don't get appreciated enough as a drummer, and and especially the big snafu 2 episodes ago about I started off the episode with that this is the riff and riff.
Riff and riffs, yeah. And if you're ever sick, I'm going to have another guitar player on. We're
yeah.
gonna do the riff and riff episode.
Yes, so that maybe can we call this the rhythms and rhythms episode, or
I don't know if I'd be willing to go that far.
I mean, it could be possible.
Exactly, anything's possible with some editing. So and AI. So we're going to cover here our a top list of drum fills.
Drum fill.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit more about this guy's channel here. So I'm not familiar with this guy that we were looking up
Are you
here.
kidding me?
No, I don't. I got time. I'm doing podcasts. I got time to sit on the fucking internet.
You work for a living. You don't do anything but stare at the computer all day.
Anyway, so please tell me, enlighten me, please. Oh,
Okay, so if anybody's a musician and if they've been on YouTube for like 10 seconds in the last 5 years, you've seen a Rick Beato video. So Rick Beato has got he's been doing videos forever. And he's got like a What Makes This Song Great series. He's got like the top 20 acoustic intros of all time, top 20 best guitar solos of all time. He does interviews of all kinds of great stuff, great people. He's got an excellent channel, Rick Beato, on YouTube. And
but who actually is he though?
He started out as a musician.
Okay.
Got a minor record deal from a small record company and got some notoriety for himself, and then he ended up becoming a producer. He lives in the Atlanta area, and he produced a lot of music. He's got a really happening recording studio.
Okay.
And he's been a YouTuber for the past 10 or 15 years.
So he's been in the music business more probably behind the scenes, where most people that are in the business know who he is.
He's been on both sides of
Okay.
it, and he knows enough. And he's a monster when it comes to music theory. He can play all the instruments. He knows how to work a console and all of the associated audio processing equipment. So he's qualified to pretty much talk on any of these subjects that he's talking about.
Right.
And one of the videos that he did, which we sourced, was the top 20 greatest drum fills of all time. So what we're going to do is we're going to recount the top 10, because we don't have all day,
Yeah.
and put our comments on it,
Yeah. Right.
and
Right.
get you to chime in and see what you think about this.
Yeah. So what do you think of his list? Right. We're just going over his top 10 list and so forth. So all right. So we're going to start from the bottom here. Would you like me to?
We're going to start at number 10. What's number 10 then?
All right. So number 10 is, again, anyone who's grown up here, Gen Xer, or of definitely a big resurgence, is number 10 is Dave Grohl with Nirvana and Smells Like Teen Spirit. So that song came out, 91, and, just, I think, I don't disagree, his putting this at number 10, because it is a defined fill to start off a song. Not just that it was in the middle of the song, but just and it really, that drum fill in the beginning and the song just hits you so much in the face.
Yeah,
But that's how a lot of
hear that drum fill, you know what song it is.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
So it's definitely, and again, it fits that type of, for the grunge, time frame of that music. And
Smells Like Teen Spirit is the song. Did we say that?
yes, yeah. So it definitely was a big song. And then Dave Grohl's got a lot. I mean, obviously he's still drumming even with Foo Fighters. There's even a lot of great songs, drum fills and drum parts in the Foo
I
Fighters
like
too.
Dave Grohl. I mean, I've never spent much time with him, but everything I can tell about him, I like the guy.
Dave Grohl, okay, this is the podcast for you because you are both the riff and the rhythm. So come be a guest here when you're in Fort.
We challenged Dave Grohl to be a guest.
Actually-
He could not stand up to our
No,
time.
actually, we're going to go search him out. He's performing we talked about this a little bit, at Rockville in May at the Daytona Speedway.
Is he?
The 4-day concert, yes. Saturday night, he's there, the headliner. So Dave Grohl, we're coming for you.
Oh, he could be the inaugural
Like really celebrity
person
guest.
for the riffs and rhythms section of people who can play the riff and the rhythm.
All right. So,
How many people are there?
notwithstanding Brad, okay, let's make sure, Brad's.
Well, he
yes,
does it at the
yes,
same time.
Yes. So,
But he hasn't sold millions of albums.
yeah, but I've never seen Dave Grohl do it at the same time. So,
Yeah,
yes,
Dave
so,
has to do it one at a time.
Yeah, so Dave Grohl, you got nothing on Brad Brock, okay? So, yeah.
And he puts his pants on one leg at a time, but once he has his pants on, he makes hit records.
That's right, because he's the cock of the walk.
Yeah, he's
So-
got it going on. Dave.
So yeah, so then Dino there. So you familiar with Upsy? That's a huge song, right? For your again, we're a little bit generational apart here, but you know the song, right?
Yeah, no, I definitely know it. I've heard it. I think it was either end of middle school, beginning high school. I think is when I started listening to that.
Yeah, that sounds about right for a middle school boy to listen to Nirvana and be all angsty, right?
Yeah, well, that song is the song that got everybody in L.A. to turn in their spandex and bandanas for jeans and flannel.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, one day everybody was walking around looking like David Lee Roth, and the next day everybody was had gotten their order from Columbia, and they were wearing their Seattle clothes.
I was high school. I was high school when that happened, and I was the more on the rock and metal side of stuff, and all of a sudden, what's this Nirvana stuff and everything else. So anyway, all right. So number 10 there. Yes, I don't disagree. It's a big iconic song there. So number 9 here. This is this is a pretty big one here. This is a big name drummer. So for those that aren't drummers, the previous one on there is Dave Grohl, right? Everyone knows who Dave Grohl is. Pretty much, he's Mr. Music at this point, right? But you may not know this drummer because a lot of these bands in the 70s and 80s had a lot of guys who were studio musicians and these guys are like It's a shame that I don't sometimes hear on the Drums and Rums podcast some of these names of the drummers that brought up when I asked them about their Mount Rushmore, right? But Steve Smith of Journey there, Separate Ways there. That's
one of the most epic Journey songs ever written. And Steve Smith, not only a great rock drummer, but a fusion drummer extraordinaire. And when you listen to, all of you right now, you're listening to the intro of Separate Ways, and you're just hearing those drums, and he's a monster. No question. That is it is one of the best drum fills of all time.
right. So far, I don't think we're so far disagreeing with Rick's list so far at the top, at least in the top 10 here, right? So, but look, we're going to go he goes from number 9 and then and Rick's number 8 is another huge drummer back from the 70s and 80s. It came out another studio musician who was just, everyone talks so much about him. He passed away, very at a young age.
Unfortunately, no longer with us. One of my favorite drummers of all time, no question about it. Possibly the best feel of any drummer. And it is by Toto, the song Rosanna. And it's Jeff Porcaro on drums.
That shuffle, man. That's in that song is such a groove song. It's not just the fill in this song; it's everything that goes with it. The shuffle again. I think we, talked a little bit about the rest of on this list here is like Bernard Purdy, where a lot of these guys that did these shuffles were influenced by Bernard, and that's how when he came up with it, he kind of had his own thing.
This song was a combination of the Purdy shuffle and a different kind of bass drum beat that Jeff Porcaro put together specifically for this song, and it has become the standard. If you can play that beat right, then you're good.
Yeah.
And many drummers can't do it.
No.
So if you want us to think you're a good drummer, you got to be able to play the drum beat for Rosanna properly and do the fills without speeding up.
Meet you all the way. Sorry, I forgot. It's not karaoke hour here, so it's still too early for that. So I know it's such a great song. Thank you, Dino. All right, so yes.
Nobody can argue that Jeff Porcaro was awesome.
So
all right, so number 7, what do we got?
So we got number 7 here. All right, here.
Can you read my writing?
I'm not quite sure I can read this writing here, so.
What does it say? I'm nearly blind.
Yeah. So he's going to look at it without.
Oh, this is Vinnie Colaiuta.
Okay. I didn't see
the Buddy
that.
Rich Memorial Concert.
Oh, yeah. So
This is something that is not on a song, not on an album. You can watch the concert. And, of course, the Buddy Rich Memorial Concert, all the best drummers are going to be there. Vinnie Colaiuta among them, playing a drum solo that's not even part of a song. It's just a feature of drums.
I think it was him and Gad and, so there was that video, definitely. We'll put the link to this whole Rick's video here.
If you're at all a fan of drums, you got to watch the Buddy Rich Memorial Concert because it's amazing. It's amazing, memorable.
All these guys were influenced by Buddy Rich, and that's one name that always does come up on the drums. His podcast is Buddy Rich's name. Obviously, he was a foundation for a lot of the drummers, and that so his name's always been up there. So yeah.
So number 7 is Vinnie Colaiuta.
Yep. So, all right. So, number 6. So, again, I think, it's not a song, like Kevin said, but it definitely is when you watch this, it's just amazing drumming. And I'm always amazed by watching these guys. Their stick work and their hand movements are just like floating like butterflies around the drum kit. It's amazing. And the speed as well, too. So, all right. So, number 6 here.
An iconic band.
Yes.
Who's been around since the 60s.
Who do you think it is?
I'm looking at
Do you know?
I can see.
I actually don't.
Have you ever heard of The Who?
I have, yes. My dad taught me about them.
I feel old.
So again, another drummer who's no longer with us, right?
That's right, yes.
Unfortunately, we lost Keith Moon many moons ago, actually.
That's correct. So actually, we did an episode on Drums and Rums about an interesting story about him being accused of killing somebody.
No kidding.
That's right. So definitely check out that episode of Drums and Rums there about did Keith Moon kill his chauffeur. But anyway, so enough about that. But Keith Moon, again, he was one of the craziest wild man. And that song that We Won't Be Fooled Again, right?
Won't Get Fooled Again. Another epic
Right.
Rock and roll song.
If it wasn't for CSI, you probably would have never have heard the song unless you were in the 60s, maybe.
Oh, I don't know. That song is pretty huge. If you're listening
Yeah,
to classic
that's
rock
fair.
radio, you hear it once an hour still.
Yeah, yeah. Especially with the keys, it's very good parts in there. Another percussion instrument there, right? So there would double percussion, right?
Yeah.
So keys is still considered percussion, right?
Well,
I
depending.
think so. Yeah.
That's a keyboard. That's a keyboard, not a piano. So it's.
So he's technicality me.
So yeah, won't get fooled again by the Who. Just iconic.
Oh yeah,
Iconic.
when you turn that on, you hear the drums, the thundering. Right, Keith Moon's drums are always.
The indelible mark that
you ever-
Moon has left on rock and roll cannot be denied.
No, but and you probably have seen this is the live performance they did where he'd put some type of M80s or some type of explosives in his drum kits. Did you ever see that?
No.
Okay, yeah, we'll have to definitely show that in a link. But yeah, it was a whole story about him. He blew up his drums on stage, and apparently that's what Peter
Townsend.
Pete Townsend claims had lost some of his hearing from this.
Oh yeah, certainly wasn't because he had four
Yeah,
high
right.
watt stacks on 10 right behind him for 30 years. No,
Right, yeah.
had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, right. But yeah, you have to see that video of him blowing up his drums on this.
One of my favorite stories about the Who is that when they were doing the live concert and they made it available like to everybody on regular TV, and Pete Townsend was going inside the clear booth to play the acoustic guitar. My mother called me. She's like, I'm watching this band from the 60s, and I think the guitar player must be terrible because whenever he picks up an acoustic guitar, they make him go into a box.
That's what we should do with all guitar players. Put them into a box.
It was hilarious.
That's
I'm like, Mom, that's an isolation booth.
Mom.
Anyway, so
Yes.
now coming up to number 5.
Oh, okay.
Probably, in my opinion, the absolute best drum fills ever, bar none. I don't know why this is number 5. It should be number 1, in my opinion.
We're gonna get to not gonna spoil alert number 1.
The
but,
only reason this is not number 1 is because it's not as well known.
I don't disagree.
And probably way too complex to air drum along with.
This drummer is up there. Again, another name that most people is not a household name. Drummers know who he is, and again, he's on a lot of stuff. I mean, heck, he even did the drumming for Paul Simon's. What's that song he did with it? Get on the bus, Gus.
50 ways
To leave your lover.
Leave your lover.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, if you want to sound important and you're a drummer, and you have to drop this name, or else you just not gonna
if you don't know who Steve Gadd is, right? So
Steve Gadd, one of the
is,
top session drummers of all time.
and a lot of these guys too is not, again, it's when I've talked to other drummers and things and so forth, is a lot of these drummers that we're talking about. Again, if you ever want to go into drumming or your children or whatever the case may be, definitely get them into drum corps, because you get them in the drum corps, they are definitely learning rudimental stuff that they probably can be a full-time musician because they can read the music, they can play the parts. They're, drum corps is very, military-esque, very, what's the word?
You learn your fundamentals in a very
Oh,
solid
yeah.
way when you're in drum corps.
A lot of these guys, like I said, I talked to, is that these guys are all in drum corps, and then that's why they can be full-time musicians. Maybe they're not rock stars and famous and all that, but they have a life being a full-time musician, which is better than what I'm doing, maybe. But,
So there's a band called Steely Dan, and they always used session drummers, and they're well known for calling in different drummers and re-recording the song and figuring out who was going to be the best one. This Steve Gadd solo at the end of Asia by Steely Dan is, in my opinion, like if you could teach an octopus how to play drums, he couldn't do it as well.
yeah, again, you just gotta watch some of these videos. It's great that it's what YouTube exists now to see close up on some of these drums and the drummers and the speed and the movement and the finesse and again precision. That's key, right? You can do a drum fill really fast, but if you're not precise and precision, it's gonna sound like shit. I mean,
And when you listen to it, that was the first time through. They had rehearsed the song, okay, but he didn't put any of those drum fills in while they were rehearsing. They rehearsed it for about an hour, and then they played it, twice. That's the second time they played it. So
That's amazing.
Listen to Asia. It's a long song, but when you get to the part we're talking about, you will know. And it's not the album. It's the song Asia, AJA, on the album of the same name by Steely Dan. If you can play that, like, call me. I want you in my band. Because nobody can do that except Steve Gadd. Nobody can do. Nobody even tries.
No.
I think they probably had to omit that part when they played concerts.
Probably, yeah.
Nobody can do that.
Yeah,
Nobody can do that.
Unless you got him back in the band, but it's very much similar. Like another name that's on this list too, that not very many people even try to, even mimic or even cover. You don't see. I'm getting ahead of myself, but we'll get to this person in a minute here. But
This next drummer is often referred to as uninteresting and simplistic, which is totally false. He's an amazing drummer.
Wow.
He doesn't really do stuff that's like over the top, technical, super fast stuff. But if he was not a part of this band, it would not be what it is today.
You know what I love so far? I've just observed. I love how much Kevin's really into talking about these drummers. I think something must be in this whiskey here. So
Drummers are great. Everyone should own one.
You might be transitioning.
No.
whoa. Anyway,
No, because
so, yeah.
listen to this.
Yes.
This band was changed the world, and the genius between the four of them was, in my opinion, quite equal.
If you don't know who we're talking about already, I'm sure you're gonna guess it here.
The Fab Four.
That's right. So one of the drummers that does get dumped on more than Meg White from the White Stripes is Ringo Starr. Yes.
A lot of people say Ringo Starr sucks, and
Yeah.
if you believe that, you have not dissected what he does to those songs, because almost none of the Beatles songs is like the regular boom bap boom bap. Almost none of them.
And he played right-handed. And this again another talk. This is actually a great episode for me to plug the other podcast. But yeah, I talked about Ringo. I saw him perform a year and a half ago, and down in the Hard Rock Casino there, been with his all-star band. And Ringo, most people don't realize Ringo plays right-handed, but he's actually left-handed. He's left-handed.
Well, that would explain his backwards-ish drum style.
Right, and they say a lot of times he leads with his left. So when you see it Phil's, like he'll start leading with his predominant hand.
That's why no one can sound like Ringo.
That's right. So
Everybody leads with their dominant hand. All right, so the song we're talking about is "She Said, She Said."
Yep.
The fill in that song is a definitive. It's number 4 on Rick Beato's list.
So again, I was surprised that Rick put this on there versus and maybe it's not necessarily a fill because it's actually a drum part, but would come together. Most people would think that's probably a fill that he's playing in that song, right? Again, there's a lot of change up in the different parts of that song, but that is actually, he's not doing a drum fill and come together. He's doing the drum part for the verse. Do you know what I mean? Do you follow what I'm saying? It's not really a fill.
So it comes across as a fill because it's that cool.
That's correct, right? He's not just sitting there in the pocket playing the 4/4 on the ride or the hi hat. He's
smacking the pie plates and going
right.
boom pap boom pap. Yeah.
Right. So, but yeah. So all right. So there's number 4. Like I said, I wish I would had thought that. I was surprised by that ad. I'm really glad, Rick, you did recognize Ringo on there. I definitely want to kind of give that a recognition there because most people probably wouldn't have at least put him on the list anywhere. But Ringo's in the top 10, and Ringo's also been influential, probably for a lot of these guys on this list.
No question.
Right. So again, they saw the Beatles. It wasn't just about John and Paul and George, but Ringo also influenced a lot of drummers as well too.
So coming on, no top 10 drum list of any sort would be complete without John Bonham on it. And so the drum fills in Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin have been included, and I completely agree with that.
There are so many Led Zeppelin songs that, that you could probably put on there, right? From John Bonham. That was
John Bonham, listening to Led Zeppelin, right? There are songs that, and people disagree with me, but I've counted it out. When you listen to it loud outdoors, you can hear this, where John the band is playing one time signature and one tempo, and the drummer is playing a different time signature at a different tempo, and then they eventually land together at the end of the section, and it's unbelievable. If you sit down and you count that out, they're actually doing. It's not polyrhythms. It's a different tempo and a different time signature, and they come together, and that's why those grooves sound so wide.
It's important to know your math to be able to count in different signatures and times segments.
Yeah.
Yeah, that song there, "Stairway to Heaven." Again, we were joking a little bit before the show there about the rule is to never play that on a guitar in a music store, right? Or at least in Wayne, according to Wayne's World, right? If you guys get the reference.
Everybody's heard that about 70,000 times more than they want to from an amateur guitar player.
So, but yeah, this song again, there's so many that you probably could put on this list from Led Zeppelin and John Bonham. Again, another drummer who was so influential on a lot of these people on this list too, that they've never seen Led Zeppelin to influence, right? So, another band that again, it's like you talk about like the titans of the band there, right? I think the unfortunate part is probably most people don't give John Paul Jones as much probably recognition for that band than the other three guys. You know what I mean?
He carried the brunt of the genius for that.
Yeah, and very much similar to like John Entwistle and The Who, right? We're talking about. There's another guy.
Well, there's a thing, especially in rock and roll. Like the utility guy just doesn't get
Right,
the
the
accolades.
recognition.
There's a singer. He's got pretty hair and he's jumping up and down. He's waving his ass at people. He gets all the credit, but the other guy who's sitting there playing mandolin and keyboards and bass and little dingy dongy thing, they can play every single instrument in the band, and they're just sitting in the corner. Nobody cares. It's backwards, I think.
Well, it's actually, you know what real reality is, and again, you probably have seen this,
Hammered
right?
dulcimer.
The bass players usually end up getting, whatever's left at the end of that list behind backstage.
That's fair enough.
Don't worry, because the drummer's still breaking down his stuff, so he ain't getting any fit.
That's right.
All right, so there's number 3 there, "Stairway to Heaven" there. Great song. That's a classic song there. So, and especially, and again, the fill. There's so many great parts about that song too. Yeah, obviously with Jimmy Page and Jimmy Page.
Robert Page and Jimmy Plant.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that band, that super group.
Yeah.
So, all right. So number 2.
Unfortunately, this drummer is no longer with us, but no one can argue that he is one of the best drummers ever. How about a toast?
Yeah. How about a toast to this
Neil
drummer?
Peart.
Yes. So again, this is another song that you hear. These next two, this one, number 2 and number 1 and 2, wherever you're at and you hear this song, you are definitely playing air drums too. No doubt about it, right? And obviously the number 1 is obviously a little bit more known. Number 2, even we asked Dino earlier that asked him if he knew this band, and he said, "Yeah, I know who they are." And again, I again. Gone too soon, right? And again, it's almost kind of it's
Way
now
too soon.
pretty much has ended this band because how can you replace this guy?
No, there's no replacing this guy. Although many people can do what he does because he has been the template for a million prog drummers. But this is probably their biggest song.
Yeah.
Every song that Rush does has stuff equally cool in the drum department.
Yes. Yeah. So we're talking about the Professor.
The Professor, Neil Peart.
Yes.
On
yes,
drums,
Yes.
the fills in Tom Sawyer are the number 2. Yeah, you can't even say it.
Yeah. It's so thundering, those drums in that song, man. It's so crazy. So, yeah, but he there again, how many Rush tribute bands do you see? You don't see very many Rush tribute bands because no drummer wants to be.
People can't play that stuff. It's hard.
Right, because you're going to be judged at that level.
They played like a 7-piece band as 3 people.
So I got the opportunity to see them back in 2004 at the amphitheater. So it definitely was really cool to kind of actually get to see him in concert. So
I've seen Rush a few times, and they do not disappoint.
No. So definitely agree with this one here. So that's one up there. I guess sometimes people may not think about Tom Sawyer because they think of Rush. But you know what's weird about Rush? They've almost become like very cool and hip now. Like people are totally like, they're into Rush. Where when they first came out, it was a bunch of the outsiders kind of thing,
Rush made records for many years. They started in the 70s.
No, I know, but like the fan base, they had they were almost like outside the norm of music, right?
Yeah, they kind of like bridged the gap between progressive rock and regular rock.
Yeah.
There is such a thing as regular rock.
Yeah, right. But like you said, progressive, right?
Album
Progressive.
rock.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and they did a lot of kind of cool stuff, which they weren't afraid to kind of switch some things up. Very much like Queen, they switch a little bit things too. But anyway,
So now we have come to. Oh wait, you're the drummer.
yeah. Anyway, we'll add that in afterwards.
The song that everyone loves to do air drums to. I think this is as much a popularity thing as it is.
Yes, I think
Anything
it's
else?
become part of cult lore there. So, right. So, what do you think? Let's see your best air drum interpretation of this song here.
Okay, I'll do it. Dun-dun, 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 dun-dun.
There you go. All right,
that's
there
pretty
you
good,
go.
that's
There.
pretty good.
Give yourself a little applause there. It's for putting you on the spot there. So
Yeah, that's why it's number one, because
even he knows it.
even Dino can do it.
Yeah, that's right.
So we are talking about the song. The drummer is
Mr. Phil Collins. Yes,
playing with,
Genesis.
and the name of the song is.
In the Air Tonight there. So I love playing this song. Actually, I played this song a couple times there with our good friend Chris Springer. Yeah, speaking of Chris Springer, we need to get him on here. But
Where are
yeah,
you, Chris?
Yeah. So I played that song with Chris. Chris does that song live also, and usually when he's playing,
You do that with your pitch slap?
not with that one, but with the box, the one I sit on, not the lap box.
There's a box that you sit on,
Yes, there.
and you hit it.
Yes, I do hit my cojones. So my cajon, yes. So yes, sometimes
Just
yes.
checking.
Playing in that song there. Now, it's funny is that this song was also covered. I think depending on what version of covers songs you're going to do, is it the original or an offshoot of maybe a cover of the cover, which cover was there's a band called Nonpoint, I think, and they were based out of Fort Lauderdale, and they did a cover of "In the Air Tonight." They obviously a little bit more rock.
Oh, that's right, they did. But you know what I used to like about this is if you watch the live videos of this, the drummer that played with Genesis was Bernard Edwards. And when they did this song, Phil came out to the front, and Bernard Edwards played the fill. And then while he was playing that, Phil was running back to the back of the stage, and they would play the rest of the song
together.
two drummers, Allman Brothers style, and that was cool.
I saw him, and Phil Collins now, he's got some health issues right now. It's kind of really sad, but I saw him not too long ago, quite a few years now, was on Jimmy Fallon, right? He came out, and I guess he must have been promoting something, whatever. And he came out and sung "In the Air Tonight," and Questlove backed him.
I was going to say Questlove.
Oh, you know Questlove was loving that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, to play that iconic Phil, obviously Phil's song there, or Genesis song. But yeah, I don't disagree with this one. Everyone knows it. It's probably the most iconic drum fill song that's out there, and I don't disagree. So to recap, I don't have any kind of like ill to this list. I think it's a Rick's got a pretty good list here. I don't think it's could be challenged that hard. A couple other ones here on the list. Again, we'll just run through it here. Where you've got names on this list like Billy Cobbin. Again, most drummers will know this name. You've got other names here.
Larry Mullins from U2.
U2, right? So Pride. There's a lot of great U2 stuff, right? Larry Mullins doesn't get much credit sometimes as well, too, right? A big one there. I played a couple times when I was playing in the band here in the Port St. Lucie area was Tool, right? Again, there's a big intro
Tool.
of that song right there for Sober. Danny Carey's another amazing drummer there too, and I don't see these names here.
Lars Ulrich with Metallica.
So
But True.
I'm not sure with
Stuart Copeland.
the Little Wings. It's
Little
Jimi
Wing
Hendrix
with Jimi Hendrix. That's Mitch Mitchell, right?
Yep, Mitch Mitchell. Yep.
And then Black Hole Sun.
Yeah, Matt Cameron there.
Yeah.
Another. And there was
And old 70s. If you haven't checked out the old 70s Gino Vanelli stuff, Mark Craney playing drums on Brother to Brother. That's a great one.
I have to check that one out. I don't know. I'm not familiar with that song.
Yeah, the old Gino Vanelli stuff, like Brother to Brother and Appaloosa, all the stuff from that era is like super, super cool.
So who was another? Was another one that was on there that we thought was
Rainbow.
okay.
The intro to Stargazer, amazing.
I thought there was
Oh, there's
another.
Alan Holdsworth. We got that on the list there.
Yeah, yeah. So not sure, about the Lars one on there, but yeah. So definitely, I think we agree here. Oh, Ginger, where was the one we saw the
Ginger Baker got a special mention. He's not actually on
yeah,
the list.
that's right. That's right. That's right. That's where we saw it. So, yeah. So, all right. So there's our I guess recap review thoughts on Rick Beato's list here. So, I think there's a few probably maybe at the bottom that could shuffle around a little bit. I'm sure. Do I think Toto it should be after?
That's all of it's arguable, no question.
Yeah, for sure.
Let us know what you think because we don't care what you think. We just want you to comment.
Yeah, just kind of just watch the video, like and subscribe. That's all we really care about.
We do want to hear what you think because that way we'll know.
Hey, tell us we suck. That's cool too because you know what, you engaged in this episode.
You can go ahead and everyone who's watching this video, just go ahead and in the comments say, "I prefer the riffs."
You meant the rhythms.
Oh no, okay. So. Does this conclude our top 10?
I think this does conclude our top 10. So I think right about now we're probably a little bit empty on our glasses here, I would assume. So yeah, we did a lot of talking there. So again, we're going to.
So we've got now that we have Dino on staff, we've got a cue card here, and we should talk about music news apparently.
Okay.
Or just something like you guys have seen like new people coming out of out of the woodworks, or just anyone that has anything new.
Well, technically,
speaking of new,
like 1,000 songs a day come out on Spotify and brand new. One of those is called "Day by Day"
Oh,
by an obscure artist from Florida by the name of Kevin McLaughlin.
can't be that Kevin McLaughlin right there.
it's the Kevin McLaughlin.
Yeah, so very exciting for me for the first time in 3-4 years. I've released a single. It's off of my live album called "It's About Time." It dropped on Friday, New Music Friday, last Friday, 2 weeks ago Friday, and excuse me,
A little sleepy there.
He's still recovering from Bike Week.
So this has been like an interesting thing. Like I'm actually trying to promote this song, so there's a lot of work involved in that.
Yeah,
That's part of what's got me pretty frazzled because, as an unsigned artist, I'm trying to, pry the lid off of the secretive paint can full of record company secrets, and it's not easy.
So go download, check out new songs. Day by day.
What you've got to do is just click the link underneath here because no doubt Paul's going to put that in the description. And there's a website that you can just click on, and it gives you buttons to find it on your favorite streaming platform. You just click the one and listen to it.
That's perfect.
Yeah, I also just listened to it on the way here. It's just like I couldn't get enough of it. It was awesome. Just like very laid back, but also like more, I guess, riffy, like with all the guitar.
Did you just say he endorsed it based on the riff, I think.
I thought he said he wasn't getting paid.
Well,
I mean,
not
I'm
by
not
you today.
I'm,
I guess.
not. I'm just providing honest opinion.
No, but you know
Okay,
what? You know what's exciting is I've been getting some good reviews.
Yeah.
On the song. It's on the radio in Canada. It's on the radio. It's playing in South America. It's playing in France. It's playing in the UK. It's playing in the United States. It's playing in Brazil, Uruguay. I'm really excited. Like
You become international now.
People are listening to my song.
So when Kevin decides to leave the podcast for bigger and better things, we'll have a help wanted sign here for some.
No,
you can't forget the little people.
We'll take the riffs and rhythms on the road.
Oh, perfect! Yeah, we get a big tour bus and would.
Yeah, I know a guy that can actually get a van.
There you go. It'll be the official podcast of the Kevin McLaughlin "It's About Time" tour, and we'll be able to to stand outside in the huge line of like 3 or 4 people that are waiting to get into the show.
That's right.
Ask them what they like better.
Standing room
Riff
only.
or the rhythm.
All right, so I think you mentioned this previously on if you go to Amazon, there's a link package or right.
No, the way to do it is to go to kevinmclaughlinband.com, and links to the merch are right there on the homepage.
Okay. And you too can get your own very own KMB shot glass there. Again, it's our official shot glass of the podcast here.
Yeah, send me a note and I'll sign it. I'll put my my John Hancock on the CD. I mean, I know nobody's got any CDs, but we got a pretty cool merch deal with the CD and all the merch all together in one package.
Okay. So yeah, we'll come to the back towards the end of the show there because I know you want. There's a lot of stuff coming up here for promotion of shows, specific events here that are really cool. I like to tie in. We talked a little bit in the previous episode there, back in episode 25, about some of the upcoming shows and some of the things you can do and be part of it, giveaways and whatnot, free stuff. So you definitely go download, go check it out, subscribe, buy the freaking song, man.
There's a link down in there. Just listen to it, and then get back on here and tell us what you think. I mean, if it sucks, let us know. I'll make a different one next time.
Yeah. So all right. So we've got also the our Tales from the Road here. So yes, as we start kind of winding stuff up here,
we had an awesome tale from the road.
Yes.
Yeah.
Elbow deep in a fish is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the first time I ever had a gigantic tarpon wrapped around. So it's gotta live.
Yeah.
Gotta live.
Usually they noodle for catfish, just so you know.
Oh yeah.
So maybe he dropped something. He was trying to grab it, and then that's.
Oh yeah, there's something in the backside of this tarpon's head I want to get.
Yeah. So, but so there was our Tales on the Road there from Dino and his trip down to Alamorada. I like the way he said it though. How'd you say it again?
Isla Morada.
Look at those.
It's just
wow.
Yeah.
The flair.
it's the Cuban accent.
There you go.
So if you're working on any songs, if you want to do some flamenco kind of action there, he can maybe translate. I don't know. Google Translate.
I mean, I also like to shout out a distillery that if you guys want to ever go down. Isla Morada Distillery is probably one of my favorites of all. So.
Alamorada?
There's an Alamorada brewery as well. There.
Oh yeah, no, they do beers and spirits. So.
They have one
They've
up
got
in
a location up in Fort Pierce as
Oh,
well.
I did not know that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, right by the airport in Fort
Well,
Pierce.
no. Wait. Where did you say the place was?
Isla Morada
No,
Distillery.
this is actually for gringos. It's called Alamorada.
Okay.
So
Yeah, it's
it's
the
different.
gringo-
Different.
Nah,
It's a different
gringo
place. It's a
location.
different place. It's in Fort. It's
yeah.
in Fort Pierce.
All right.
Yeah, actually, Mike Farrow just talked about it because he plays there pretty often. Actually, so
He does.
yeah,
I
so,
found that out.
so yeah, go check out and check
Yeah.
him out. Yeah.
Also, another couple of places that I went to, Hog's Breath and Sloppy Joe's. The one night we went to Sloppy Joe's, there was these two guys one on guitar and one on bongos, which is kind of a rhythm.
Okay.
And
Yep.
he had a tambourine
okay.
between his toes.
Oh yeah, I've seen him. You put him on, strap him on your foot, and you kind of keep beating. It's kind of
Right. But the one thing that got me and my family was the guy doing the bongos, he would make his own sound effects like trumpets and everything. But the one thing that got us, he goes,
Oh, he's got pretend cymbals.
and we made
That's hilarious.
we wanted to make a drinking game out of that because he did it so often.
yeah. We're not allowed drinking games here. on
No,
the
no,
show
no.
'cause we might be severely hurt.
We tried that once and nobody could leave.
Yeah, that's that's definitely for the extra Patreon.
No, I'm not
levels.
living through that again.
Yeah.
No.
So yeah,
No chance that'll ever happen again.
That's an interesting, Key West is definitely a crazy kind of town.
Oh, yeah,
So,
definitely.
for sure. The Conch Republic, right?
So
Right.
we have another feature, the MVP of the week.
That's right. Yeah. So the MVP of the week, this is the MVP, the House of Wine and Beer and Spirits MVP of the week here goes to, definitely want to give a recognition to Mike and Brad from last week there for helping us fill in. Again, we kind of had a little bit of a pivot, there last week and with a guest and a co-host and all these things. And they kind of were able to jump in there and definitely appreciate them hanging out here with us. Again, holding down the fort because, as I mentioned earlier, where, Dino was on vacation, Kevin wasn't able to make it, and they were able to jump in. I think it was a great episode. Had a good time. Give a new audience there. So I'm definitely thinking Mike's. We'll probably see more of Mike. I think on the show here, whether it's just hanging out on the couch or that we always talked about. We just be cool to kind of just have people hanging out here while we're doing taping a live
absolutely.
show here.
More the merrier. Come on
Yes.
down.
So definitely my MVP goes out to Mike Farrow and Brad Brock. So definitely go out and support them. They are also local musicians here in the Treasure Coast area. So definitely check them out there. Check out Brad's Jams and Cocktails Wednesdays night, 8 p.m. So they always got some great stuff. And again, we talked about last week was Kevin, myself, Brad, Mike, and Mike Lubeck who we did a song review last week. We started our own Irish band a couple weeks ago on the Jams and Cocktails show there.
Yes, we did.
So definitely check it out there. So thanks again, Mike and Brad, for kind of help filling that void there. So make sure that I wasn't talking to a camera by myself and making sure that all the equipment is working, and functioning, and drinking by myself too, which is not a good thing. So
Nothing worse than doing a whole show and then realizing you forgot to press record.
right? Yeah. So we're not
Been there many times.
Yep. So there we go. So we got our MVP here of the week, and so let's kind of start wrapping things up here, Kevin. And so let's talk a little bit about, again, we're going to come back to what we just teased a little bit about the song releases, but you got a lot of shows coming up here for supporting this album, right? So we want to make sure people get out there and come down to the shows, support the venue, so buy some merch.
Yeah,
Again,
so
show them some love.
Yeah, so the biggest deal I got going on, and so far nobody's, it's not really getting the momentum that I expected it would. If you come to a release party as a Facebook subscriber, you get the limited edition release t-shirt for free. And just so you know, it's only $5 to subscribe. The t-shirt is $25. Like, if you care enough to have a t-shirt, this is the best way to do it.
That's a good deal.
So I've got the day-by-day t-shirts weren't delivered in time. We already did the day-by-day party. So whoever comes to the
Beer 30.
Beer 30 release party
Yeah.
is going to get 2 free t-shirts if they're a subscriber. And it's $5 to subscribe. So hello, $50 worth of t-shirts for $5. And yeah, the next single that's coming out is Beer 30, released on 4/19. And I call that the working man's national anthem, because it's Beer 30. It's my beer drinking song. And we're doing the release party show at Hop Life Brewery in Port St. Lucie. They actually make their own beer. Not only do they make their own beer, but they're making a Beer 30 lager, a special for the day. There's going to be vendors and all kind of stuff. And it's a daytime show. We'll be on the day shift for that thing. We start at 3:30. And you can get on Facebook, and as you're subscribing, you can take a look at my events and see all the details there. And then all of these things are leading up to the big album release weekend series of events, which is on, it releases on 5/17, I think. And then 5/18, we've got our release party at the Hoffman in Jensen Beach. On 5/19, we've got our release concert at the Rock and River Walk in Stuart, Florida. And then the big VIP, which anybody can come, after party at Sneaky Tiki in just right around the corner in Stuart.
Who's performing the after party?
Brad Brock will be there.
Oh, I see what you did there. All right.
So, yeah.
It's going to be a whole night of shenanigans. Holy.
Yeah, it'll be, they'll need to drag me out by the foot, I'm sure. But it'll be the time when the Kevin McLaughlin family all comes together as a whole to celebrate the success of the album, the first Kevin McLaughlin Band album.
Yeah. So this is awesome, Kevin, because, again, I know you've put a lot of work into this. You put a lot of, as a artist, right, a lot of people don't understand kind of what goes into creating art, whether it's, art, drawings, paintings, or whatever, music, right? Again, without musicians, what would life be without, right? Without music, how would you want to hang out in
Life would be cold, gray, boring. And
right. So again, I always talk about in this show here, again, I don't live up in the Treasure Coast area per se. I do want to kind of mention a little bit, if it's okay, in a second here about this past weekend. But I always say the Treasure Coast area, the Stuart, Martin County, St. Lucie area, it's got a really cool music scene.
Awesome music scene. There's so much amazing talent in this area.
I'm a little jealous that I don't live up there in the area. And again, don't get me wrong. I know the Palm Beach County 561 area code area stuff like that. We got a really cool, good, great bands as well here. But it's very spread out. I mean, again, but yeah, the area there. So as I was just kind of alluding there to is, this past weekend there, got a chance to come up and see Kevin perform at a little resort there, what they call the Pocket. It's in Port Salerno, so it's kind of in between Stuart and Jensen-ish area, kind of.
Between Stuart and Jupiter.
Okay, yeah. So really cool little place. It's like kind of very much a local thing, right? I played a couple times up there. It's not even the same name anymore, but very cool little place. There's a couple bars all right next to each other in the pocket. You can bounce around and bar hop. And
Salerno, Florida.
Right. So I came up there, saw Kevin and a big extended family there. So Kevin's got some musical genes flowing through his family there. So I got a chance to meet all his Kevin's brood.
Yeah, my family is awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, and there may or may not have. I don't know if there actually was any photos though. But Kevin asked
Sure,
me.
there were.
Kevin asked me to join him on stage there. And
Paul came up and sat in with us, and my daughter, Freya Neal. We play as the band Freya.
So definitely, follow them. Yeah. So Freya's
Let's go to the band Freya on Instagram.
Your daughter's got an amazing voice.
She sings so well.
I
I don't even bother to sing while she's there because it's just no point. I sound so horrible next to her.
So it was actually, I love that, again, it was a very cool vibe, the event, the kids and things and so forth there, and your grandson. Holy shit,
Yeah, Liam is 8. He's already performing his own compositions live on stage with us.
So it's like, oh God, I'm just going to stop playing music because. So definitely check it again. So check out, again, like I said, that's some really cool stuff there. It's a lot of local music there, a lot of local artists, and it's just a very cool community. Again, as Kevin mentioned, and the many projects that, you're a part of there, obviously, whether it's solo or I see that you were trying to find a trio band to play Double Roads too.
Yeah, that got filled.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
That was for the Treasure Coast Blues Society.
Right.
Needed
Okay.
a band for their
and as well as the band Freya. So to
Oh yeah, you know what? I had to erase that post because all right, I tried to do something sneaky, appeal to the savviness of my crowd, and apparently that does not exist. Because
they didn't pick up on what he was trying to
they
convey.
did not pick up what I was putting down. Because my friend Vince owns an awesome bard, and he's looking for 3-piece bands. And so I normally perform as a 3-piece band. So I was trying to be sly and get a little bit of recommendation to play in this place.
And it didn't go
And
over
so
too well.
I shared his post. It was like, who knows? And I'm like, does anybody know any decent 3-piece bands? Hint, 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 recommend me. And all of my top fans on Facebook are yelling out all these other names. I'm like, oh, my God. I had to erase them.
You are not a fan.
That's just sabotage.
That was it was a test.
My biggest fans that there are. Recommending other bands. Like, how much money does it take to get the people who like me to actually try to recommend me for a gig? I don't know. I don't have that much, apparently. I was mortified.
No, I guess they didn't get the.
Well,
You know what I mean? I mean, they didn't get the. I got it.
clearly the Kevin McLaughlin Band does not appeal to Mensa students.
Well, I think you may need to create another page called the Kevin McLaughlin Trio. Yeah, you need another account to create and follow and do all that.
These are people that see me perform on a weekly basis as a trio.
That's 3, folks. 3. Sometimes you see Kevin by himself. Sometimes you see Kevin with somebody else. Sometimes he's, 3's a company.
I would have been able to, let it go if I didn't put a clue in there. But I put a clue in there. And it literally said, hint, recommend me. And then it still recommended others.
Well, look, I'm gonna tell you this, Kevin, and don't take offense to this because I know you grew up your entire life here, in Florida. But and I my education system, I attended only 1 year in Florida schools, but I think it had something to probably do with Florida education. Probably that folks didn't get it.
I mean, it's not wrong.
Send a hate mail to Dino at riffsandrhythms.com. There,
I have a question. Make a post in the comment if you've ever read the actual second sentence of a social media post, because I don't think anybody does.
No. We have a short attention span. You know this.
I don't think anybody does.
Yes. You're just better off flashing. Have a girl flash. Go to Kevin's site. Click on this.
I
link.
do that every once in a while, and it does improve my numbers. I'll
There
put
you go.
some arbitrary girl's butt on.
Yeah,
there.
you need to get back to the Harley Davidson dealership where they do the bike washes. That's.
No, there's not much chance of that happening.
All right, maybe on the next episode we'll find out why Kevin's not invited back to the Harley Davidson.
I'll be glad to tell you. They have free.
We'll just save it. Okay.
All right. Well,
We'll save it for Tales
it's not
from
my
the Road.
fault. I didn't do anything wrong. I
That
promise.
sounds. I've heard that saying before.
What had happened was.
Yeah. It wasn't my fault that I got kicked out of the bar at
they won't
Cabbage
let
Patch
me-
because I was telling the bartenders to shake their drinks and.
Well, I did
Smack
get kicked
people's-
out of my own show. So
So I think you have a pattern here, Kevin.
that,
Anyways,
that could be true.
He's a
but
pattern
it's
of
not.
having fun. That's what his pattern
I
is.
wrench every bit of fun out of everything I can do. I promise you that.
So, all right. So, cool. So, you've got a lot of shows coming up there. We're going to make sure we'll put it in the description here. So, definitely, again, folks, help out. Not want to say help out, but, support. That's, I think, is better the word, is support local musicians. Again, yeah, definitely. I haven't had a chance. I haven't heard the CD yet, I don't think.
So what I want to say is this.
yeah.
And I'll,
Yeah.
Truly my goal with this, with the music that I make, is to share my experiences through music in a way that connects with other people. And that connection transports the listener in a way that can only be done through the music. And I want to do that because that's what happened to me. Like when I first heard some of these songs that have changed my life forever, it was a transformative experience. It took me to a place. It constructed an entire world for me. And then when the song was over, the world disappeared. I had to listen to the song again to bring it back.
Right? Isn't like music the window to the soul or something? Like, isn't that like a quote or something?
Yeah, there's no question about it. It is the language of our hearts. It is the soundtrack of our lives, and it is just to be able to connect with y'all and bring you somewhere to give you, like when music is played, when people are listening to music, it gives you power. It makes you bigger than you are. It inspires you and puts you on a trajectory that's better than you would have had if you hadn't heard that song. And that's what I want to do for everybody.
No, it's definitely well said. We've wrapped it all up here, so check it out.
KevinMcLaughlinBand.com.
Sorry.
You can get on Facebook and type in hashtag Kevin M. Or I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. You can just click the link below. That no doubt will be there, so you can see all that stuff. And we're so glad to have you as part of the Riffs and Rhythms group here. We're going to go ahead and continue to give Paul a hard time because he's a drummer and advocate the fact that the riffs are better.
So one last thing, I want to go ahead and see if Dean, do you got any plugs there for anything you're up to?
So far, nothing really, but like otherwise, like I did have a YouTube account like way back when, just doing gaming stuff. But I also have a production studio thing that I started. It's under the same name. It's Chris Sora, ChrisSora Productions, or the gaming channel. So that's
Chris Sora Productions will
Yep.
do your video for you.
yes, exactly.
Rock on.
All right, so there you
Payment
go.
up front.
So we'll include all those links there. So then, again, we're all helping each other here. So here's how we pay our staff here in booze. So that's a commodity.
I do it for the exposure, but yeah, that's a little plus.
That's a whole nother subject about exposure. So we can get into a whole roundtable conversation with musicians about that term especially. So
Okay.
So all right. So Kevin, let's. We think we're wrapping up here tonight.
I think we are wrapping it up. So this is a wrap. This is the
Yes.
final moments of tonight's Riffs and Rhythms podcast. My name is Kevin McLaughlin.
And my name's Paul Robertson.
Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.
Cheers, y'all.